Hello again. I had a few friends that asked me what happened with Channel 48 after it closed down its operations in Philadelphia. And I know that's happened over 31 years ago exactly, and more specifically in 1983 on August 30th. It was an independent station. For those who do not know, Channel 48 was one of the most loved independent stations in the Delaware Valley, and people are still mourning its loss. Well, this is what happened. Okay. Once Field Communications put their stations up for sale and all the other stations got sold, and as we know, Channel 48 didn't, and it met its fate. There was a company based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania called Cornerstone Broadcasting, and they were a Christian outlet. Now, originally, they were going to buy WPHL TV, Channel 17, which was Channel 48's competitor, which is based in the Winfield section of Philadelphia where I grew up at. And Channel 17 was going to merge with Channel 48. Well, okay, let's get to that part. Okay, all right, let's look at that. Now, when 48 was being sold by Field Communications based in Chicago, Channel 17 stepped to Field, well, more specifically, their parent company, Providence Journal, at the time. They're now today owned by Tribune. Channel 17's people talked to the Chicago people and said, hey, listen, we understand that you are trying to sell 48. They said, yeah, that's correct. Okay, we're willing to offer you money. But it was shorter than the 42 million that Field was asking for. Providence Journal wanted to sell it to them for 38 million. And Field strongly considered it because had Providence went through with the deal with Field, they would have merged all of Channel 17's programming and operations onto Channel 48's call sign, licenses, and everything. And it would have been under Channel 48. And probably either Providence would have moved 48's facilities up to Winfield, or everybody from Winfield would have gone down to South Philly on South 26th Street where Channel 48 was located. Now, Field in the end said no to them because they said the bid wasn't high enough. And they said, well, what are you going to do if you don't sell 48? They said, well, we're going to shut it down and take a tax write-off. And they said, okay, well, I'll tell you what, if you do shut down Channel 48, we'll buy some equipment from you and we'll buy all your syndicated program rights. That being like the Munsters, McHale's Navy, all the cartoons that was on 48, etc. So that's what Channel 17 did. So when 48 went off the air, Cornerstone Broadcasting got involved too. But when they got off the air, Channel 17 bought most of their equipment and their what did they buy? Their syndicated programming rights. A lot of the programs that were on Channel 48 ended up on Channel 17. So afterwards, Cornerstone was fighting for the FCC license that Field gave back to Washington, D.C. for Channel 48's license. In the interim, Cornerstone bought the antenna based in Roxborough section of Philadelphia from Field with hopes of getting Channel 48. Unfortunately, their efforts was in vain of getting the license because there was a Ronald Reagan mandate back then. President Ronald Reagan mandated that all minorities and women have rights to own broadcasting companies. So, they gave first dibs to a woman named Dorothy Brunson, who was from Baltimore, Maryland. Now, it worked in her favor because, number one, obviously she was a woman, and two, she was African American. So she got awarded the license based off of President Reagan's mandate. So she won that, and Cornerstone obviously lost. Now, Cornerstone took the antenna up to Altoona, Pennsylvania, in Blair County, which is about 3.5 hours from Philadelphia. It's in the middle of the state, And they broadcasted, ironically, on the WKBS TV call letters. They used WKBS call letters, and it became Channel 47. And again, they're still based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they broadcast on Channel 47 in Altoona. So they are now a Christian station. Now, meanwhile, back down here in Philadelphia, or not here, because I'm not in Philadelphia at this time, Brunson Communications, Dorothy Brunson and her company, even though they had Channel 48's license, they had to do a new construction permit, which took place in 1988. Once they did that, they were able to start to get the ball rolling to make Channel 48's broadcast a reality. 4 years later, in 1992, they signed on as independent station WGTW, which stood for Good Television to Watch. And they had some syndicated shows such as A Different World. They had The Heat of the Night, stuff that was popular in the 90s. But it paled in comparison to what Field Communications had. And their ratings wasn't that strong like Channel 48's was. And plus, by that time, Channel 29 and 17 became affiliates of major networks. Like with 29 being a real powerhouse, they were Fox. They became Fox 29 in 1988, but that's a whole other story. So Dorothy Brunson and her company, Brunson Communications, pretty much owned Channel 48 for a dozen years. Then in 2004, the Trinity Broadcasting Network, or TBN, had bought Channel 48 from Dorothy Brunson and Brunson Communications. So today, it is now a Christian-based station. It is still WGTW, and I've heard the joke, it's called God's Television Watch, but that's another story. And it's still WGTW, still broadcast on Channel 48. Now, when Ms. Brunson bought the station and they went on the air, they were located on Main Street in the Manayunk section of Philadelphia. But now they moved out since then, and I believe they're either in Glen Olden or Norwood in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. That's where the station is now. But today, Channel 48, WGTW, broadcasting through Burlington, Philadelphia. It's still licensed Burlington, Philadelphia, but it's not the same license as WKBS when it was owned by Field. It's a whole different beast. So now it is a Christian station today. And that is it at this time. But what we are doing on the WKBS Facebook page is we're trying to get funds to resurrect not only Field Communications, but we are looking in the future to resurrect Kaiser Broadcasting. So we can have the KBN network and FCN. So if you want to donate, go to GoFundMe.com and look up Resurrect Field Communications. Thank you. Have a good day.